Well, a good evening, keep pounding nation. What is going on? Welcome to a live Carolina Panthers talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. It is Thursday, August 28th of 2025. Hope everybody's been having a good week so far. Enjoying this nice hot weather, but hope all are doing well. Keep pounding nation. I know it's been a little while, but we have reached a point where it's time to really get the conversations brewing again, if you know what I mean. So, main focus tonight, I want to dig in to this 2025 Carolina Panthers 53-man roster. It's been set. We also going to talk practice squad as well, and they even made some adjustments here and there. So we're pretty much going to start from the initial 53-man roster and then really go from there and just really break some things down. I might have some visitors as well, which let me go ahead and send the invite. Pardon me. So I can get them in here. Okay. Let me. Okay. And then as soon as somebody joins, I'll switch to camera 2, and then we'll get this going. But I have to say, overall, the 53-man roster, I can't say that I'm too surprised at the final look. Um, there's like maybe one or two that I was just kind of like, really? But for the most part, I think I think they did pretty well. I mean, it's always expected that there's going to be tough decisions, and there's going to be certain folks that may be our favorites or what that may not make the cut. It happens. Sometimes they're brought back later, but those things happen sometimes. So it is what it is. But at the same time, each team has to do what they have to do in order to equip their team with the best roster that they can in order to compete. After all, the end objective is to win a Super Bowl. That's what it's all about. And then, of course, you want to win as many as possible. I mean, that's the objective every season. So that's how they have to treat this every time. That's how they have to treat this every time. So it is what it is. But hopefully it'll work out. Let's see. So Corey will probably be joining in a little bit, but gonna go ahead and get started, and we'll kind of recuperate once once it gets in. Okay. Um, we're pretty much just gonna start right from the top. Um, Quarterbacks. So initially, they decided to keep two. Um, Bryce Young, Andy Dalton. And, oh, speaking of which, he just made it on. Hey, it's going good. Hey, can you hear me? Okay, let me. Hold on. I need to adjust this. Um, okay, try speaking now.
How's it going?
There we go. All right. Now I'm gonna switch to camera two. Camera two engaged. All right, here we go. How's it going, bro?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good, good. So you actually came on just in time. We were getting ready to go right from the top. So right from the top, quarterbacks. Initially kept two: Bryce Young, Andy
Mhm.
Dalton. Were you surprised that initially we decided to keep two, even though we did add Hendon Hooker later?
No, I'm not surprised. Andy Dalton's been hurt and he's gonna be healthy again soon. But um, traditionally, when I do Madden franchise, I typically operate with three quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Same.
So I would recommend it because of the injuries history that we've had so far.
Mm-hmm.
But I know this management ran with two last year, and I against my suggestions, and that's okay. But yeah, I like the Hendon Hooker signing. I agree with Chad when he said that he liked who was it better than Hooker? I forget who it was, but yeah, I I like the quarterback room so far. I think we can run it back.
Yeah. And I mean, Hendon Hooker, he's a North Carolinian, so you know, I
Right.
I, I can be a little bit biased because I love my North Carolinians. So I'm hopeful it works out. Another idea I was thinking of was maybe Kyle Trask, since they had released him from Tampa Bay and has a little bit
I
of a
didn't even
relationship
hear that he
with.
released. Hmm, interesting.
Yeah. Mainly because of the chemistry he had with Dave Canales, back when
Right,
he was with Tampa Bay. So,
right.
but I'm okay with Hendon Hooker. I'm just very curious to see how his health is. And it's not that like I'm hoping that it has to come down to the third string quarterback, but you got to be ready at any point in time. But honestly, not really surprised. Bryce Young, Andy Dalton. Um, and I think they can work with that. Throw in Hendon Hooker, maybe practice squad. He gets activated as the third string. I mean,
And like Chad pointed out in my stream, is we're practicing against other types of quarterbacks that we might face against too.
mm-hmm,
So there's that point too, with all these players that are on there at each different position. And he's got an excellent point there. Some of these guys were signed for specifically that reason.
right.
So maybe a hook would simulate uh that we're about to face. I'm not sure who, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe y'all could tell me.
Yeah. Yeah. It remains to be seen. And I know there was a lot of talk with Jack Plummer. I mean, he played a lot of the preseason, but just I feel like even despite the familiar familiarity. Oh man, I butchered that
Yeah.
badly. Um, I think they really just decided to go like a new avenue, and Hendon Hooker seems to be the new avenue that they're going. Um, but
With Jack, I want to point out a couple of things with Jack.
go
The
for it.
hospital ball throws, in particular, the one you saw against to Renfro that almost got him absolutely killed out there,
Yes.
is is a good chunk of the reason he's not staying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been frustrated with that. Chad was frustrated with the fact that he was not uh, calling the plays that are the best fit for our wide receivers and what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm sitting there like, okay, now the question arises: is it Brad Isaac, or was it Jack Plummer when Jack Plummer failed?
Ah.
You know, so it does raise that question. I was thinking about that today, actually.
Yeah, he threw a good number of balls pretty high. And I remember that off balance. I mean, Renfro still made the catch, but he had to kind of make an off balance catch
We
because
are
it was.
very lucky that he has those skills because if he didn't, he could have ended up like Keith Kirkwood back at training camp 2 or 3 years ago when PJ Walker threw that hospital ball up there to him.
Ah,
You know,
yeah,
on a stretcher. There's a reason Peyton Manning calls it hospital balls. You know,
right.
so yeah, I did not like that, and I got on him about that. So on my stream,
Yeah, makes sense, and for good reason. Definitely for
yeah,
good reason.
and this is
Um,
not the first time he's done it either.
right.
This is preseason this year and a couple times last year too.
Yeah, but
Well, it's time to part ways. Best wishes to him.
yeah, but definitely Bryson and Dalton were pretty obvious. So
Yeah. Mhm.
you know,
Even though Dalton has his struggles in preseason,
right.
I'm going to be nice and say that because on my stream, I've been bashing him pretty hard. But
Yeah, you
it's all
have.
out of
Yeah.
tough love, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to make him better.
Right, right. Totally understandable. Um, okay, let's go on to running backs, and I have to say, bro, I like our running back room. Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, Trevor Etienne were the initial three uh, to make the
Yeah,
53 man.
I like it too. Um, Chuba, Rico, obvious picks. Um, and then you go down to Trevor Etienne. This is where it starts to get a little bit complicated because you got Blackshear involved.
Mm-hmm.
Blackshear was our top 10 kick returner.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was a huge push for Trevor Etienne with the kick returns
Right.
because we were trying to see if Trevor Etienne could do the kick returning and the running back duties.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where it got complicated is they tried to ram Blackshear up the middle and, it tried to make him into a Derrick Henry. He's not a power runner. He's 190 pounds, versus these 300-pound trucks, you
Right.
know, of defensive linemen. You're not going to create that just by running him up the middle constantly. That's what our, that's what I got on our offensive coordinator, Brad Isaac, about because I was like, "What are you doing, bro? He's not that type of running back." The
Right.
running back position has evolved now to where they catch balls, they go for screens, they do all kinds of other things, other than just running up the middle like it is back in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
Now you've got him involved in route running for what at such as a wide receiver does.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was hoping they would do with him and create a purpose for him so he could stay. If that means we don't carry four tight ends, that's what matters. Is making sure that we got our top 10 kick returner
Yeah.
in that
Absolutely.
case. But
And
I was looking at Rico and I was thinking, okay, now they're putting Rico in the depth chart as the top kick returner and punt returner. And I'm like, this dude only has 49 kick return yards, and that was in 2023. He didn't even do any returns last year or in 2021.
right.
So I'm going, how are you going to put Rico as our top kick returner when you haven't even properly vetted him? That's where I've got a question there. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
becomes about kick return versus running yards. You know, Clearly Rico's won the job rushing wise. And Trevor Etienne has won the job rushing wise as well. If you're comparing just Trevor and Blackshear.
Right.
But the problem comes with money. That's
Yes.
what it comes down to, because we chose the option that would give us more money because of the fact that we need to extend Bryce Young soon.
Yes.
So uh, a lot of these moves came with that idea in mind. And I was watching Dan Morgan's press conference earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of explained the same thing. Um, where he was basically just saying, "Yeah, we were in constant communication with Hunter Renfro. We were in constant communication trying to make a deal happen with Adam Thielen. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, pause. Are we going to be having a conversation about Blackshear and the kick returning? Because I want to know what's going on there.
Oh, fair. Fair point. Fair point.
There's a couple of other things I want to ask him about too, and the the room never asked him. But credit to David Newton, who actually did ask the right questions at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and previously, 2 weeks ago, he was asking some really ignorant questions that were completely pointless.
He has his
So
moments.
credit to David Newton, he has evolved. He has been doing good in the last 2 weeks of press conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that we may have made a good move with this right here. Because if Trevor Etienne can prove that he can be a kick returner, and do Blackshear's job, then I don't see a problem. You know,
Yeah.
because traditional kick returner needs to be a wide receiver or a running back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in very, very rare occasion that a defensive player, I mean, really the only exception was Deion Sanders, but you know,
Correct.
when was the last time that's happened? So,
Correct.
but but no, I definitely, I mean, when it comes to Rico Dowdle, first off, I love that pickup. That was an excellent pickup. Um, my thing is, I do expect Chuba and Rico to be the 1-2 punch on the ground in that offense. Um, Trevor Etienne, I mean, I got a feeling I could see probably a combination of Etienne, Dowdle on kickoff returns, and maybe like Dowdle and Trevor Etienne will probably kind of like mix that up. We'll see,
Yeah.
but I think it is at least safe to say Chuba and Rico will be the 1-2 punch on the ground.
Agreed.
Um, but overall, I mean, I'll miss Raheem Blackshear for what he did in the return game. I just don't think he was utilized well in the offense when it came to the runs. Like I said, I agree with you there. I mean, Blackshear's not a big dude. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, hopefully he does well elsewhere. But I think that the three running backs they went with, I feel made a lot of sense.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, tight ends. We're gonna do tight ends and then wide receivers. Tight ends. The initial four: Jatavion Sanders, Tommy Tremble, Mitchell Evans, and James Mitchell. Um,
James Smith is going to be special teams.
yeah, and apparently they said James Mitchell had a really good camp. So
That's what I've been hearing too over Twitter.
yeah, and thankfully Tommy Tremble is off the pup. So
Right.
hopefully they can usher him back into the lineup. He might not necessarily start week 1, but I say maybe he gets in there week 2.
Yeah.
Um, Jatavion, no surprise there. Um, Mitchell Evans, if I remember correctly, he was one of our draft picks.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So I'm very curious
I
to
doubt
see
him.
if he gets some calls in the offense.
I would like to see that.
But it's definitely a new era for tight ends in Carolina, that's for sure. So it'll be very curious to see how this works out. But any other thoughts on the tight ends, the initial four?
Not really. I think that these guys will be all right. We're going to be splitting up throws in between tight end and wide receivers. You know, it's going to be a lot more split up now that Thielen is gone.
Right.
It's going to be like the whole Kelvin Benjamin situation where a lot of these wide receivers and tight ends finally got into the mix, that weren't previously in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so increased workload for Jatavion Sanders this year is expected.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And he'll rise up to the challenge.
Yeah. Indeed. Indeed. But it is really good to know that Trumbull's off the pup and he's at least back out there. So that's good. He's gonna be needed.
Right.
Okay. Now it's about to get really interesting. The wide receivers. Now,
Uh-huh.
I'll go ahead and say Adam Thielen was on the initial 53, but as we all know, he got traded right back to the Vikings, so he's out of there.
Right.
Minus him, you have the six of Tetaroa McMillan, our first round draft pick, Xavier Legette, our first round draft pick of last year, Jalen Coker, Bryson Tremaine, David Moore, and Jimmy Horn Jr.
Right.
Um, I know there was a lot of heads turning when it came to the cutting of Hunter Renfro. With what Dan Morgan is saying and just with the talks, I think there might possibly be a chance they bring him back at some point. I don't know how soon, but I just have that feeling that they're going to try to get him back at some point.
Yeah, Dave Canales was saying that he was in constant contact with him, and so was Dan. So it's about his injuries. That's why he was cut. Not so much his performance, but his injuries. They're trying to make sure that they have him consistently performing the way he was in Las Vegas. Otherwise, there's no reason to sign him.
Well,
And
at
the
least
thing
the
is,
at least the good thing about it is because he's a vested veteran, he doesn't have to worry about clearing waivers to sign to the practice squad.
correct. The biggest thing was the fact that he chose us. Like he told his agent, "Don't take any phone calls from any of these other teams. I want to play for Carolina."
Mm-hmm.
In the return. So I feel like that's the same thing that's about to happen here. Is like he's gathering interest from all around the league, but he's telling his agent, "No, I want to have conversations with Dan Morgan because this is the right fit for me."
Mm-hmm.
If I can be healthy and I can produce like I want to produce, like I was in Las Vegas before the injury, then yeah, I would like to do that.
Yeah.
Um, but if I can't consistently do that, then there's no point in me signing with the Panthers or any team.
Yeah.
So
And
I feel like it's going to be Panthers or nothing for
yeah.
Renfro, which I like that
And it's and
because loyal
and
to us.
and it's such a bummer because you saw it yourself. He had a good strong camp.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, here's hoping like maybe, a spot will be open. The show's
Yeah.
got to go on. Of course, we understand that, but
when those moves were originally made, when that cut was originally made, I was like, okay, don't react too quickly because I'm a Clemson fanatic, and I
Yes.
love Renfro, huge supporter. I was like,
Right.
okay, Dan doesn't do these things without a reason,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Stand by, let's see what happens. Is this a money reason? Is this an injury reason? What's going on here? You know, and then I see him sign Tremaine, to the 53,
Mm-hmm.
and then we see him go after a Gamecock wide receiver, which is not going to thrill Clemson fans
Oh yeah.
at all, because when Renfro was cut, Tiger Net went off comments wise. I've never
Oh.
seen so many comments. It was 136 comments, and mind you, these these Clemson events and things usually generate about 50 comments, and that's about it, max.
Oh. Okay.
That generated 136 comments and 160 reactions. I was like, good Lord. Twitter was on fire. It was a media firestorm. I was like, Dan, what did you just do?
Oof.
Because this is not what we want. If we're trying to create positive media, this is not it. This is the opposite of what we want. So I was sitting there like, okay, this is creating a PR nightmare, but is it the right move?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't exactly gone by the media standards. Keep that in mind. Out of the box thing, and it worked because it's the right thing to do in most of those cases. You know. So when we did that, I was thinking, okay, now you're starting to piss off the Clemson fans. What are you doing here, Dan? Like that's when I started reacting. I was like, there's no way. Because so many Gamecocks people are on the roster, and I had to keep myself grounded and remember that we're trying to build the best 53-man roster possible here. That's the goal.
Right.
Put aside the bias, put aside the nonsense. Let's focus on that 53-man roster. So that's what
Absolutely.
grounded and kept me in check there. And of all the Clemson fans out there, me and Cody would be the first ones to go off. Because we love Clemson
Right.
and
Right.
our wide receivers and out there. And speaking of which, do not sign Isaiah Simmons right now because none of these teams can figure out what they're doing with him. I've
Oh,
heard about
Isaiah
that one
Simmons.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay away from that for now. Um, because I'm look, the dude's had a history. He's not it. Okay, look somewhere else.
Hmm. Interesting.
And that's me
Well.
saying that as a Clemson fan. And again, putting that 53-man roster, to the forefront. So if anybody thinks I still have Clemson bias, put that slams the door shut on it right there.
There you go.
Yeah. So I've had a few people say that over the years.
Ah. Understandable.
Wow.
Um. But looking at this wide receiver room, very impressed with Bryson Tremaine. And he's another big guy, 6'4",
Mhm.
another big guy. Um, I think it's safe to say. So it's looking like the main top four: T Mac, Leggett, Coker, and I guess it's going to be a battle between Tremaine and David Moore. Of course, David Moore is more the veteran, but can also do special teams. I think Jimmy Horn Jr. will be mainly special teams.
Yeah.
May get him on a jet sweep or two or reverse. I mean, he's got that speed. Um,
Right.
but Tremaine has also been contributing on special teams as well. So, if anything, you got some versatility in the wide receiver room.
Correct.
So my
Uh,
big thing is just really wondering who's gonna be the one to lead the charge and really break out.
it's really between three right now. It's between McMillan, it's between Leggett and Coker.
Yeah,
And a
agreed.
lot of people in McMillan at this point. There's a small margin that want Coker. And that argument is not unfounded at this point. You know, they've got a good support for that, and I like it.
Right.
You know, but I think uh, Ted is going to win that battle, even though XL has had a year. Because what we've seen from Ted, I mean, he was all over the media
Yes.
during training camp,
Yeah.
preseason, making plays, doing everything he's been asked to do. I mean, there's no reason not to put Ted at the forefront.
Right.
Um, I like our initial four. I think they're good. Um, David Moore, I've got questions about after that Pittsburgh game.
Okay.
Uh, Bryson, I like as well. You know, but let's kind of put this Renfro thing in perspective with the Adam Thielen trade.
Okay.
Okay, so there's two ways that you could look at this, and then you could put them together.
Okay.
So the first side of it is the money side of it, which gives us $7 million off the Adam Thielen trade.
Okay.
Now, I don't mind Adam Thielen moving. You know, you're going back to the Vikings. That's fine.
Right.
It's the value we got back. You know, so yes, we did get 7 mil out of this in cap room, but you're giving up a sixth and a seventh for a fourth and a fifth. That's the equivalent of a sixth round difference,
Yeah.
you know, in that. And that's originally what the Vikings were asking for,
Right.
which is enough. He's worth a third, bare minimum, bare minimum. So, Vikings, I don't know who you're trying to fleece right now, but it ain't us. I, I I don't know what happened to Dan on that one, but he dropped the ball on that trade. I was not happy with the value.
The the
Uh,
the only thing that I could probably guess is, and it's kind of meh, is probably the fact that he's 35, which I get that, but
we're talking about a two-time Pro Bowler that was your number one wide receiver in Minnesota before he moved to Carolina, and then became a number one receiver here for 2 years.
right.
That's worth a sixth. I don't care how old he is. That's not worth a sixth. You know, if look at look at Julio Jones. Is he worth a sixth now? No,
No.
he's not, because of what he's done so far in his career. You know, regardless of his age. And I mean, I get that the age would downgrade the value, but not down to a sixth. No, I'm sorry. No, we got screwed there, value wise. We did get two picks, which I am thrilled about. I don't like the fact that we have the fifth rounder first instead of the fourth,
Hmm.
because we're in the rebuilding period right now. We're trying to get to year three, you know. So that could be a linebacker, a defensive end. Who knows what that fifth round pick could be for us?
Right.
Dan Morgan knows what he's doing. He'll figure it out. Um, that part I'm not worried about. That'll take care of itself with Dan Morgan when the time comes.
Hmm.
$7 million is good, you know, but here's the thing: if you're looking at it from a player perspective, are you going to spend 7 million on a vested veteran and not have to worry about risking that money on a undrafted rookie that you're trying to turn into Coker
Hmm.
in Bryson Tremaine, and a injured Renfro. You know, let's take the bias out of it. You know, is that worth 7 million to you if you're a GM?
No.
That's really what it comes down to. You know, are you going to put 7 million into Adam Thielen, or are you going to take that risk?
It's a good
And
point.
that's where Renfro comes in, because Renfro has that injury history. Now we're trying to cover 6 wide receivers right on the roster, 6 to 7. I think that's what Dan said.
Mm-hmm.
So that really put David Moore in jeopardy, because David Moore would cost us about say 3 million in dead cap if we were to release him today,
Uh-huh.
which that's a whole separate can of worms, because you can't put him on squad, and
Right. Right.
because he'll be gone in a week, and you want to get some value out of him,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to put him on the 53 because of the talent issues that he's had in this preseason. So what do you do with it? You know, it's become a massive debate, you know, on my channel about that, and our team chat. So by moving Adam Thielen, you did solve that issue. You freed up the 7 mil. You know, so there are a lot more positives than negatives about this trade. That did allow Bryson to make the 53. You know, and then you have a spot open for Renfro should he wish to get on
Mm-hmm.
uh, at a later date, because we can always toss that four string tight end, you know, a special teamer
Right.
if we need to, or somebody else that should not be there. So logically, it makes sense, you know, on paper, but there's a lot of people that are guided by emotions in this fan base that will not like that.
True.
So I think people responded positively to the Adam Thielen trade
Mm-hmm.
itself, but Renfro they went absolutely crazy about,
Yeah.
and that's what didn't make any sense to me, is the fact that you're going to respond negatively to Renfro when there's a good reason for it that he just stated today with the injuries, and I accept that reasoning as a Panthers fan, you know, and even as a Clemson fan, respect that reasoning. That's a
Mm-hmm.
good reason, you know, and you're not going to bash the trade value. You know that every everybody I've talked to was in approval of the trade value, and I was going, huh? You know, like it. I don't understand. You know, there were some people that did understand it, and they're like, "Yeah, you don't know football if you don't understand that this was a bad trade value." And I was like, "Well, I'm not going to go that far." You know,
Uh-huh.
surely some of these people do know some football, but
Right.
I do agree that was terrible value. But you know, the room is what it is. We are where we are. But Chad pointed out again that Bryce Young needs a connection. And that's when I started putting the pieces together. I was like, that's why we made the move. We wanted the 7 mil for that reason.
Aha.
It made sense after that point was made last night on my stream. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
The 7 mil.
So it was about the 7 mil. It honestly was. And, you know, it all worked out because it made sense for Adam Thielen to go back to his home, you know, city, you know, retire a Viking, you know,
Mm-hmm.
everything lined up after that. So putting all that into perspective, you put both sides of that together. There you go. If you're just looking at the stuff on paper, if you're just looking at the paper, the money trail, if you're just, you know, it's, you have to put it together. It's one gigantic puzzle.
That's
You
fair.
just
That's definitely
one
fair.
side blindsiding yourself to the whole thing. You know, I think a lot of fans are blindsiding themselves. You know, and it's frustrating to me watching other people just have conversations about that, just not putting the pieces together now. but that's our fan base. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. We're
Emo-
used to it by now. Shoot.
we're emotionally charged.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
So, okay. Offensive line. Okay, offensive linemen. Initially kept nine. Of course,
Mhm.
left tackle Ike Ekwonu, left guard Damian Lewis, center Austin Corbett,
Right.
right guard Robert Hunt, right
Yeah.
tackle Taylor Moton, who just signed an extension. Good for him. Um, Brady Christensen, Josh Nijman, Cade Mays, Chandler Zavala.
Um, let me be real about this. We actually put Kingston on the practice squad. We've got two offensive linemen on the squad right now,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
which I do agree with, but I also am very cautious about that because we do need to have someone besides Brady Christensen, helping out behind Taylor Moton. Brady Christensen should not be locked into one position, at any one point.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he cannot be that Swiss Army knife that we need him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Cade Mays can play center and guard. So that's why you have two of these Swiss Army knives. I would prefer to have three. And by the end of this next offseason, I would like to have three.
Okay.
Uh, we can lock up this depth in the room, and make sure that we give these two help before they're too old to do the things that they're doing right now. I like the starting five. I think they're the correct ones. Eventually, we do want to upgrade on Zavala or Yash Neiman, one of the two in this offseason, in order to do what I'm suggesting that we would like to do.
I see. Um,
Uh, Personally, Yash would be my choice to upgrade.
I see. Now that's actually understandable. That's very understandable. Um, so word is so Icky's supposed to be getting an appendectomy. So
Yeah, he'll
there,
be back uh week 1, week 2.
yeah, and word is if he can't go week one, Brady Christensen would start at left tackle.
And I love the fact that Brady Christensen is starting left tackle
I
because
mean,
that's exactly what he needs to be right now.
that's what he.
Icky's had playing 4 whole quarters of football, and you know, I would love to put Brady in during the fourth quarter and be able to fix that up.
And after all, that was his main back at what was it, BYU?
Hmm.
So,
And that's what I thought we were drafting him to be. You know,
hmm
so it, again, I don't want him locked into one position. That's why I want us to draft a left tackle or a right tackle in this draft coming up. Crucial this draft that we do that.
I see.
Um, Whether it be first 3 rounds or fourth or fifth round, we need a left tackle, to back up Icky. Um, just in case he cannot do the whole 4 quarter thing that we're asking him to do, consistently.
Right.
Now, I will give Icky this credit. The last 4 games of last year, he actually did really well. And like I said, he showed a little bit of consistency. And I was like, maybe could we be seeing a Pro Bowl Icky in the future?
Here's
You know,
hoping.
you watch some of the other games that he's played, last year, and you go, now he reminds me of a certain left tackle from last year, the early years that cost us part of what cost us the Super Bowl.
Uh-oh, Mr. Remmers.
Yeah. So that's why I'm just going, what are we doing? You know, with Icky. It's kind of up in the air. That's why I'm afraid to give him like a 2 or 3 year extension if I'm Dan Morgan. But at the same time, like maybe a 1 year prove it would be on the table at the end of the year.
Hmm
You know, So if he can give a whole year, give us 4 whole quarters for a whole year, he gets the 1 year. He succeeds with that. Okay, 2 to 3 year extension, full contract.
Yeah.
No questions asked. He gets paid. But if he's not given an opportunity to do that, then what's the point?
Right. Oh, it's totally understandable.
I'm on board with it. I'm on board with giving him 1 more year. Let's see what he can do. But I'm keeping that in mind as a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got questions about Yosh Demon. I got questions about Zavala. We've got to make improvements. Period. We cannot keep doing this. We can run back 1 or 2 years, but after that, it's you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Because for division titles after division title after division title consistently, this is not going to work. You know, but on the flip side, we're not like the Colts anymore, where they haven't improved the line, and you're going through quarterbacks like it's water, and trying to figure out what you're trying to do anymore.
Right.
We're
Right.
not that team anymore. These guys aren't on the run for their life anymore. So with the lack of depth, it led to injuries. We ran through a bunch of quarterbacks that had injuries, and it was just not a pleasant thing. How many healthy quarterbacks did we have, back in 16, 17, 18?
Right.
So this is why this becomes critical to get this right.
It also goes a
Because,
long way considering, that has been a priority is to really get this O line like a
yeah,
stone wall.
if Icky and Brady Christensen go down with injuries, we are cooked at left tackle
Hmm.
because I don't trust anybody past that point. These guys were real questionable during that Pittsburgh game. I was not happy. Every single one of them got beat on the outside.
Happened
Every
quite a
one of them.
bit.
Now, that leads to questions with the offensive lineman coach, and the offensive coordinator. Okay, why are they keep continuing to get beat on the outside when Taylor Moton's solid? Your guards are solid. Your center is solid. Why is it just left tackle?
Right.
And it's funny. I was watching the 2015 documentary last night, and I didn't put the pieces together till just now,
Hmm.
where Mike Rimmers was actually questioned about the Von Miller opportunity where he got beat, and he was
Oh.
like, "What? Uh, I took a bad step, you know."
Okay.
And Von Miller, he took a bad step. Now,
Wow.
I've been watching Icky for 2 to 3 preseason now, you
Hmm.
know, and during the regular seasons, of course, too. And now I'm going to be watching for that bad step. Is he following the same mistake Mike Rimmers did? Is
Oh.
well, I had no idea that's what I should have been looking for because I was watching his hands, I was watching his hit turn, I was watching how he was his stance,
Hmm.
but I wasn't watching his footwork as much. And now it starts to put that into perspective right there
Ah, I see.
because now the footwork and I'm going, oh, okay, what now? Is Icky following that same mistake? We'll find out.
We shall find out. But
I'm gonna watch this, Jack, and I encourage everybody to watch that too. And let's see.
yep. Only time will tell, but um we'll see what happens. Okay.
Overall, yeah,
Switching to defense. Defensive linemen. Um so The initial six were Derek Brown, Ashawn Robinson, Tershawn Wharton, Bobby Brown, Cam Jackson, Jaden Crumedy. Of course, we know that Jaden Crumedy got released. Um, LeBrian Ray is on IR, so
Mm-hmm.
there's that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
glad to have Derek Brown back. He's been greatly missed, greatly missed. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm just I really hope we can get a pass rush going this season and really cause some pressure. We were lacking that for like the last two seasons.
Oh yeah, this rush was awful. Almost dead last in the league, if not dead last.
I mean, it's already bad enough that I don't like the 3-4, but just when you got a
Yeah.
D line that can't really contribute to giving pressure, and shoot, when we lost Derek Brown, it was even more obvious. So, uh, I'm hoping it can turn around, and starting with trenches on defensive line. But getting Derek Brown back, huge.
Oh, absolutely. Derek Brown's a key piece to what we're trying to do, and absolutely a corner piece. Dan said it himself. That's why we bunch of money.
Yeah, absolutely. So they just gotta. Hopefully, this will be the year that turns around when it comes to that D line.
And Bobby Brown will help
Yeah, that was a good pickup as well. That was a good
about
pickup
him.
as well. Um,
I'm hoping enough.
yeah, like we need to be able to wreak havoc starting at the D line, especially when it came to defending the run. Yeah,
We were dead last in the run. Trevin Wallace was out, so we couldn't rely on him. But he's a next gen AJ Klein. I
yeah,
like AJ
I definitely
and
like him. I like him for sure.
Trevin's been working with Luke Kuechly, so that's a very excellent thing.
Yeah, that'll definitely go a long way for sure. Um,
That's what I'm hoping for because if he can
so
develop skills,
yeah, it's very
next
necessary.
level.
Very necessary. Um, outside linebackers. Um, so six initially. Patrick Jones the second, DJ Wanham, Nick Scorton, Princely Umamilian, Thomas Nkum, DJ Johnson.
Correct.
Um,
Um, People were questioning DJ Johnson. He's going to be special teams.
right, because he was mostly special teams last year, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Um, well, like I said, I like Princely. I'm hoping Princely will have a breakout year. Um, now that we got a healthy DJ Wanham, I'm hoping he breaks out.
Mm-hmm.
Been hearing some really good things about Nick Scorton, so
Mm-hmm. As soon as he's back.
yeah. So I'm just really hoping that they can get some good pressure. I liked what I saw from Princely, so there's a lot of youth on this D line. First wave, second wave. There's a lot of youth, but I'm hoping these guys are hungry, and Princely's definitely hungry.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So at the same time, you do have some veterans. You have some young veterans on there. Um, and when you think about it, it's a combination of some young veterans and some draft picks. So hopefully it produces the kind of results that we can remember in a good way. Okay. Um, and then linebackers, or I guess this is mainly inside linebackers. Uh, there's four: Christian Rodsboom, Trevin Wallace, Claudine Cherilus, Bam Martin Scott. So word is they were very impressed with Bam Martin Scott, and they say he has a lot of potential. Um, Trevin Wallace, I liked what I saw out of Trevin Wallace, especially his rookie year. You know, definitely showed some flashes. Christian Rosboom, I'm hoping for good things. I really am. Um, but
They were touting him a lot during this preseason, and he actually did make a couple of good plays during that Pittsburgh game.
yeah, I
So I'm
just
hoping for good things.
my whole thing though is I just don't think we really have that top impact guy yet in the linebacker squad. Not yet. I hope I'm wrong, but and maybe one of these guys will break out and be that. But
I
I'm
think
a
it's going to be Trevin Wallace.
you think it's mainly going to be Trevin Wallace? Okay.
I think Trevin is making those moves now to start becoming the leader of this defense. Because if you think back, Luke came in and he was immediately a signal caller. This dude was immediately the guy you trusted to make sure everybody was in the right spot.
That's a good point. That's a good
You
point.
know, so that is what is teaching Trevin Wallace. That's the man that's teaching him. So all of those aspects, all those teaching methods, everything he's seen, everything, he's pouring that into Trevin Wallace. And I'm telling you, that's what they were doing with AJ Klein. They were breeding him to be a middle linebacker. And guess where he went as soon as he left Carolina? He was a starting middle linebacker for New Orleans.
Yep, that is true.
He groomed him early. Of course, this dude was an expert run stopper. He ran laterally from field to field, sides of the field, and was able to stop any run. You know, you
Yes.
include that with Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis. That is terrifying for run game coordinators.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you're not getting past that. Good luck. Back in 15, there's no way. That's like trying to get past a freight train.
That's just
Good
not
luck.
happening. Nah,
So you
nah, I
think
feel
about
you.
those types of skills being taught to Trevin Wallace, who's already displaying a lot of potential in tackling and run stopping.
Mhm.
Give him 2 years. This dude will be running the defense. I have that feeling.
Oh, okay.
Um, I was also disappointed to learn that we moved Newuso. Navarra,
Oh,
the linebacker that had the tendencies of Troy Polamalu.
yeah.
Yeah, that one frustrated me because I saw so much potential in this dude.
Right, right.
And I was like, if we could turn this guy into Troy Polamalu 2.0, except at the linebacker position,
Mhm.
that's terrifying for offensive coordinators. Think about the potential there. I mean, you have to fully develop him. You have to put him into a lot of situations, to forge the fire there. But I
Mhm.
think there is a lot of potential there. No one's talking about this dude. You give him 3 or 4 years in the right system, that's a name you're going to remember again.
Right.
And if everybody remembers Troy Polamalu, this dude was within 5 yards of every play. Didn't matter where the heck the ball was. This dude could run the entire length of the doggone field and be within 5 yards of every ball carrier at the end of every play.
Right.
I was like, how the heck is he doing this? There's no way. Physically, there's no way. You got to be a freaking Olympic track star to be able to pull this off. Or Troy
Yeah.
Palm. And there's at least 3 or 4 NFL rules that were written just because of how hard he hit people. That's the type of player Troy Polamalu was. I loved watching him play. Dude was an absolute legend. And to be able to have that 2.0 in our linebacking core, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's what he hyped. I was like, okay, I would have watched this dude in preseason. Show me some plays, you know? And he ended up just not living up to the hype, which was disappointing. But, you know, don't forget that name, though.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
He's going to up. And when he does, don't be surprised if he becomes a Pro Bowler. But overall, um, we got who now that was a vested veteran? Remind me.
From oh, just all those that were cut that were vested veterans.
Yeah,
So
or one in particular.
here, let me
The
pull it up real quick.
was on our roster last year. Big name.
Let's see.
It wasn't DJ Wanham. It was
Shy
uh
Tuttle, Boogie
Shy Tuttle,
Basham,
the Titans, by the way.
um, Chris Barnes, and John Radigan,
Okay, John Radigan.
linebacker.
Um, maybe I was thinking of outside linebackers. I'm sorry. Um,
Uh, Boogie Basham was the one.
Boogie made it to practice squad.
Okay.
So I was thinking of Jacoby Windman, right? Jacoby Windman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would surprise me. Um, they were hyping him up a lot. They were saying a lot of good things. He was making some plays, and I was like, okay, why cut him? And he doesn't even
Yeah.
make why? You know what's the point in just getting rid of him completely? I guarantee you, it doesn't last a week. You know, I was kind of surprised about that. Radigan didn't surprise me. Um, who was the other one you mentioned? We got Boogie already.
So the other one was Chris Barnes.
Chris Barnes was actually signed in place of Navoa.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had to cut Navoa for Chris Barnes. Um, which Chris Barnes did make practice squad. So I do approve of that move. Um, so it's really a question of, are you happy with what we did with that room? Um, I think so.
Mhm.
I'm satisfied with it. Let me pull it up. Here we go. Um, I've had a few questions about Quaden.
Condon Cherilus.
Yeah, and Thomas Incoon at linebacker. Uh, thought maybe squad with Incoon, but since we're putting him on special teams, okay, I can roll with that.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not mad at that. But yeah, Bam Martin Scott's good, man. I like Bam Martin Scott. He was making his plays last year too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely he was a name that they were very happy with.
Yeah, DJ is the one that everybody's been questioning because he has done nothing.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
you're right.
that's my problem with that. And if he's going to impress anybody in the coaching staff, it's got to be on special teams at this point.
Yeah, pretty
You
much.
impress enough people in the coaching staff for special teams that they kept him around.
Right.
Do I approve of it? Not really, but you know, I'm not a coach, so these guys have seen these guys for how many days out of this month, and we've only been reacting to Twitter videos. So
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
the stats in preseason, so we're limited.
Okay, cornerbacks. So initially five: J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson, Charles Smith Wade, Corey Thornton, Caleb Evans. That was who
Okay,
they initially went with.
real interesting because there was a massive battle for 3 and 4
Right.
spot. I was heavily paying attention to this, almost tunnel visioning
Oh.
it, where I didn't focus on linebackers as much
Mm-hmm.
and defensive end. And that kind of led to us not paying attention to Cam Jackson at defensive tackle, who's
Mm-hmm.
been making plays. I kind of overlooked him a little bit, but Cam Jackson's been doing some work quietly, so that's why he made the 53. But back to the corners. Um, while I was tunnel visioning this position, Mike Jack, J.C. Horn, obviously 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that's Horn number 1, Mike Jack number 2. That's never been in question. Never will be in question. Uh, then we move on to nickel, which is Charles Smith Wade. Obviously not in question. So 3 and 4 spot. Here we go. Uh, it was between Shamar, Corey Thornton, and Trace Willing entered the competition late,
Yes.
but he won. During the Pittsburgh game,
Mm-hmm.
I was impressed with him during the Pittsburgh game. Houston game, I needed to see more, and I did say I needed to see more of him. So I got my look at Trey. I looked at Corey Thornton. I looked at Shamar. Shamar was being put 10 yards off the ball, you know, on plays, and the closing speed just wasn't there. Corey Thornton's was
Right.
during the Pittsburgh game, and that's what won him the job. Now, Shamar has been put on practice squad, I believe.
He got cut again actually.
He's not on the squad anymore.
Yeah, they
Oh,
had to make room for running back DJ Dallas and cornerback Kalen King, so they ended up releasing Shamar.
are you serious?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yep.
There it is too. I
Yep.
see it.
The article released at 7 p.m. today. Yeah.
We don't need another running back, man. We got plenty of running backs as it is right now.
So apparently,
I've
D-
never even heard of them.
so DJ Dallas, he has a background with Dave Canales. He was a former fourth round pick with the Seahawks. So he's a familiar face. Canales is high on him apparently. He says he's a high character guy, a great teammate, a jack of all trades. So Canales really likes him.
Um, is that really worth putting our corner room depth at practice squad in jeopardy with Shamar? Because Shamar is better than Hill was, and my issue is that when we let go of Shamar, someone's going to grab him. Within the first week,
You
we
think pretty
won't be able to
quickly?
see. Now, Kalen King got signed in place of him.
Yes.
Who is King?
So apparently he was a seventh round pick for the Packers last year out of Penn State who spent time on their practice squad.
Hmm. 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 And I mean, I don't like arguing symmetrics over practice squad players. I don't like doing that because it's pointless. But
Right.
we've had so many injuries at corners that has come down to that now. You know, and last year we got down to Felipe Franks at tight end. So I mean, case in point, this is why I am starting to open up that door to that conversation a lot more than I normally would.
Understandable.
Um, is he better than Shamar? That's the question.
Yeah, that I don't know.
We re-signed Jaden Crumedy again as a defensive tackle run stopper. Um, which honestly he wasn't doing much on our regular roster anyway.
well, he
To help
wait, did he
out.
get picked up again? Because it says that he got waived yesterday after they claimed two players. Did they bring him
We
back?
re-signed him today
Oh,
to
okay,
practice,
okay, gotcha.
which I agree with that move. That's too much talent to just like toss out to the wind. You want that on squad.
Right. Good point. Good point. Uh, but yeah, I mean, cornerback room. I mean, there's been some positive talk of Corey Thornton, Caleb Evans, Chad Smith
And
Wade. Good to know that he's staying. And I mean, JC and Mike Jack were pretty obvious, but
yeah,
hopefully, I mean, we got some solid starters in Jackson and Horn. Smith Wade at the nickel.
let me talk quickly about a Caleb Evans because this is a guy that we got claimed off waivers. 6'2", 198 pounds from the Vikings originally.
Uh
Four
huh.
solo tackles out of five, during the whole training camp and preseason. Otherwise, he's done nothing to warrant a spot on this 53 other than special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Why is he here? That's what frustrates me. When you got a guy like Shamar sitting on the practice squad, that was battling for 2 whole weeks, doing a lot of great things, and then he just falls off the table
Mm-hmm.
with causing. Granted, we have a lot of work to do with Shamar, but can he do practice squad stuff too? Special teams things as well. Yes, you know. So it really came down to who was the better special teamer, and they chose the Caleb Evans, which I'm not thrilled with. Um,
So you're
because
you're not a fan. You're not a fan, pretty much.
I would like to see more of Shamar.
I see.
I think that eventually those problems can be corrected, but Caleb Evans did absolutely nothing, and that's what frustrated me. Like his only contributions were five tackles in the special teams, and it's like what? Doesn't have a single pass deflection, no forced fumbles, no sacks, no nothing. Just five total tackles. That's it. You didn't hear anything about this dude on Twitter during camp at all the entire month. Why is he here? When you got an ongoing corner battle between Shamar and Swift and Trey
Mm-hmm.
for that last spot.
That's a fair argument. That's a fair argument.
And there's also the element of, if you remember, Jeremy Chan, we didn't know what to do with him.
Oh yeah.
So this is a player that we're not sure what to do with him yet. or it could be a cover CYA situation, cover your, you know what,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Nah,
just to make
understandable.
sure the management doesn't look stupid for wasting a waiver pick on him
Mm-hmm.
when the number doesn't move. This isn't like baseball where that waiver number moves every time you make a waiver move or
Right.
fantasy. You know, that number stays at 8. That's where we're at, you know. So that's not affected. What is affected is the fact that our front office doesn't want to look like they goofed on this one and dropped the ball and only got a special teamer out of that waiver pick. So that's one way of looking at it too. So
Yeah.
nobody's been talking about this dude, and I wanted to bring it to the forefront
Uh,
because it's important. You've got to have solid depth at corner. I want this position locked up. We've
uh,
had 2 years of this.
MF88, welcome to the stream. But not continue.
Yeah, we've had too many of these years of not locking up the corner spot, and it's absolutely murdered us during seasons. We've been roasted, we've been burnt, we've been toasted by all the really good wide receivers in the league when
Right.
we got down 3, 4, and 5 quarterback spot. That should not continue any longer under Dave Canales and Dan. That's why I want this locked up after this year.
Nah, that's
Locked,
understandable.
period. Locked up with a key because there's no reason why this should continue. So that's why I've been stressing this position battle between 3 and 4 because I want this done. When we had Troy Hill, we didn't have to worry about that. He was our number 3.
Right.
There was clear separation between Troy Hill and everybody else. Clear.
Yes.
It was,
Agreed.
and I'm starting to think Thornton is that clear number 3 because we're trying to channel that Troy Hill energy. We're trying to make sure that we get that spot done and over with, to where we don't have to worry. If Mike Jack or JC goes down, it's just next man up.
Yeah, that's the mentality we have to have for sure.
So that's really my thoughts on corner room. I'm not thrilled with the Caleb Evans here. Um, but that's not my choice to make. It's the coach's choice. So otherwise, I'm happy with everything else. I love Corey Thornton. I think he's going to be solid. We'll see what happens there. I'll be monitoring that closely. We've got Shamar sitting on practice squad in case we have to call him up.
Fair point. Fair
You
point.
know,
So, going from the cornerbacks to the safeties. Okay, initially 4, which were Trayvon Moreg, Nick Scott, Lathan Ransom, Damani Richardson. Um, happy what I saw from Lathan Ransom, but there are some growing pains, which is understandable. I like Damani Richardson, same thing.
mm-hmm,
Um, Trayvon Moreg, I felt like was a nice little upgrade, especially when it comes to him having the added bonus of run stopping ability.
mm-hmm,
But
agreed.
but that's pretty much all I really have for safety room. Your thoughts on safety room?
We'll start with Trayvon Morig here. I like Trayvon. I think that he's going to be solid for us this year. From what I saw, I was happy with him. We're talking about a 5-year veteran, 6'2", 202, from TCU. 57 tackles, 1 sack, 2 picks last year. Solid guy. I think it's consistent numbers. Um, if you go and you look at the solo tackle numbers, it lines up 181 out of 276
Mm-hmm.
with 95 assists, 3 sacks over his career. He's not a sack man though. Um, 29 pass deflections, 10 of them coming last year, 6 interceptions, two of them last year.
Mm-hmm.
Then none of them for pick six, of course. He got two fumble recoveries last year as well as an added bonus. So I like him as a upgrade over Woods.
Oh, over Xavier Woods.
Yeah,
You kind of ran out of patience with him, didn't you?
I did. But then I started questioning at the end of the year: is this him or is this a gyro? Because if you consider a gyro kept putting people out of positions that they were not supposed to be in, like some of these play calls from a gyro were really questionable last year.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And somebody told me, we're losing our top sack leader. Okay, no, we're not. No, we're not. No, no, not even close. Woods was not the sack leader. I forget who it was, but it was not him. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that.
The sack
But
the
we'll
sack leader from last year, you say?
yes,
Let's see. It's a tie between Ashawn Robinson and Jadavion Clowney. They both had 5.5.
neither of which was Woods. So yeah, that argument's dead in the water. I don't know who said that. I don't recall, but yeah, that's just not true.
The only thing Xavier had was he led in interceptions, which he had 3, but that's it.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a sack person.
Yeah.
That's not what he's asked to do. He's asked to be a strong safety back there. He's asked to be the safety net, the last ditch effort for wide
Funny thing
receiver.
is, he only has 1 sack in his whole career, and that was with Minnesota.
Yeah, sack leader? No. Try again.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of these people don't do their homework and it's just obvious. But I like Trayvon. I think this is going to be a good move for us. We'll see. I'm in kind of let's see mode with him.
Hmm.
It's going to depend on what Ajiro decides he wants to do. Who is definitely on the hot seat right now?
Oh yeah. This has to be the year. This has to
Yeah,
be the year. It's either
after the depth chart
yeah.
because there's a couple of things with this preseason we got to discuss, coaching wise.
Because I tell
But
you
we'll
right now, if it don't work out, I want them gone, and I don't want to see that dang on 3-4 defense anymore.
right. We'll get into all that once we get done evaluating these players because this is quite the evaluation process here. This depth chart. I want to make sure we get this right.
Yeah.
Um. So Damani Richardson, I've been hearing good things about. He's having a much better year, in preseason.
Yeah, I like
Uh,
them.
yeah, he's on the upside, definitely. Trending upward.
Okay.
Uh, Lathan, I've heard a lot of really great things about and seen him play, and I really like Lathan. And I'm gonna say this right now, Nick Scott, be on guard. Be on guard, Nick Scott, because if you play like you did in Pittsburgh again, Lathan will take your job in point 0.5 seconds, bro.
Dang.
This dude is head hunting for that starting job right now. As a rookie, that dude is hungry. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Watch yourself. So all the people that love Nick Scott, that love him on special teams, Lathan can make those plays on special teams too. So if that's your major argument for Nick Scott is, oh, he could play special teams. So can Lathan. So
Yep.
do not be surprised if you see Lathan take that spot sometime this year.
Oh shoot.
Nick
Oh.
Scott his act together.
Okay. Bold prediction. Okay.
Everyone's can have bad days. You know, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I look at Nick Scott and I went, that was a horrendous game from Nick
Yeah.
Scott.
It was. It was.
Compared to what we know he can do.
Right.
And I'm sure he's just going to bed, just going, I left so much on the field. So much. You know, and Lathan put everything onto the field that he had. Blood, sweat, and tears.
Yep.
And still get the starting job. Mm. If I'm Lathan, I'm thinking, I'm feeling a little disrespected right now, to tell you the truth. I understand Nick Scott is here, but, I'm here to do a job too.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
I
that and
want
that's
that.
the mentality you got to have.
I want him to have the hunger of a beast for that starting job. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. You got to have the hunger of a panther to get that starting job.
Right.
And there's 100 of these guys trying for your job if you are a vested veteran. It does not take long for you to fall down that depth chart list if you start having a bad preseason.
Right.
I mean, you can look at Jaden Crumedy for the example there. Jaden Crumedy had a terrible year, a mid average year, and fell completely off the wagon wheel. We put him on practice squad. So, I mean, case in point, if it can happen to Crumedy, it can happen to anybody on this roster.
Right.
So let that be a lesson to all the veterans on this team that are trying to keep their jobs. That's a clear signal to you. Do what you got to do to keep your job. Because if I was a veteran, I would not be trying to lose it. Mm-mm.
No, that's
So,
understandable. That's very understandable.
and
Oh.
and Layton was a brilliant draft pick. 6'0", Ohio State, 206 pounds, and
Mhm.
just an absolute athlete. I like these four in the corner safety room right now. I really like it. That's an aggressive, hungry group right there. And we're gonna start making some moves this year there. It depends on what a gyro wants to do with the coverages, though. But
Yeah.
I
He
think if
he's got to really be on it this year.
they're gonna make the plays.
But okay. And then finishing it off, the specialists, three in particular. Um, our kicker, Ryan Fitzgerald, punter, Sam Martin, long snapper, the longest Panther, J.J. Jansen.
And this is before we get into kick return because I think we got into kick return already.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. JJ Jansen should absolutely get this job, but don't be surprised if you see us spend like a seventh rounder in the next 2 years to eventually replace him and get another long snapper.
yeah,
He's old now. This dude is uh 18 years in the league.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude was on the Super Bowl team. That's how old this dude is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That, they were interviewing him for the 2015 documentary. And I just remember saying, wait a minute.
Mm.
You still got this guy?
Oh, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, we still got him.
He's still suiting up on Sundays. That's wild. Um, but yeah. Um, Sam Martin, I think, was a better choice at punter at the moment. If you're going to kick what's his name to the curb. And
Um, Matthew
we
Wright.
but we did change special teams coaches too, didn't we? With the
Yeah,
regime
yeah.
change.
We don't have Tabor anymore.
Oh, man, because he was excellent. I wish we could have kept him
Yeah,
with what we got now, but um, because that would have allowed us to keep Hacker, and Hacker was a beast, and also he can throw. I can now say that, you know, because I was trying to hide that for the longest time because I didn't want the scouts to hear that information.
right.
Because once they get that information, they're going to use it. But now that he's no longer a Panther, I can say it. We were using him as a glorified quarterback number 4. That
Oof.
dude can. We
Interesting.
saw it one time during that year, and I said, we need to keep this under wraps because if they get this on tape, we're cooked. This dude is going to be sought after by at least half a dozen teams,
Hmm.
at least, and they're going to be offered big money. I was like, keep that as far under wraps as possible. But now that he's no longer a Panther, I can go ahead and say it.
Good timing. Good timing.
But the moment I think Ryan Fitzgerald won the kicking battle, that we knew that Ryan Fitzgerald won the kicking battle, is because the Pittsburgh game, the last minute and a half, where we just did not do anything with the ball with
Hmm.
an open kicking competition, with 2 timeouts, we had full right to go down the field, even though we were down by 9,
Right.
and just kick the field goal and at least test out Fitzgerald or Wright. And we didn't do it.
Yeah.
Now, now here's the spin. Here's the spin on what I was saying before. If you're looking at it from a kicking battle competition, and you say, "Well, this is already settled. Why should we go down the field and try to score more points? It's preseason.
Right.
We've already lost this game. Why put everybody at risk? For the kicking battle when it's already over. Or you could put it into perspective of you never leave points on the field,
Right.
which is my main argument against this. I'm willing to put a few players at risk for that
No,
because
that's
I
understandable.
establish a an identity of not quitting in the fourth quarter. See, this could set a bad precedent of just quitting in the fourth quarter. We got into a bad habit of that for a while
Right.
under Matt, and I never want to see that ever return, ever again, because we got lazy. It was like we got down by 21 points, and it was like, yeah, these games are over, sure.
Hmm.
But as many people have said, if we're going to lose, I want to lose in an entertaining way.
Right. You want to lose fighting.
And they're absolutely correct. You know, you want to leave satisfied that you have put every play on that board that you could possibly put on the board, minus human interactions of being of causing errors, injuries, stuff like that. Everything you could put on that field, put on the field. Dabo Sweeney's got a saying: put 110% into your game.
I like that. I like
The
that.
the the whole Howard's Rock, the story of Howard's Rock in Clemson. Frank Howard said, "Give me 110% or get your filthy hands off my rock."
Dang. He meant that, didn't he?
Period. He didn't hesitate. He didn't stutter. None of that. And I want that mentality up in Charlotte. I want that for 4 whole quarters of football till that clock is triple zeros. I want. I don't care what that scoreboard says. Put the points on the board.
Hmm.
Because if you don't, it sets a bad precedent. It leads us down the wrong rabbit hole. These players will get lazy. It'll start to turn into a trend, which kills our season. Not good.
We
So
don't need that. That's for sure.
I don't care if this kicking competition's been settled or not. Put the points up because you never know. It may highlight a problem with Fitzgerald. One kick could highlight a problem. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. We could have a problem with a wide receiver. We could have a problem with the playbook. Who knows? That's
Yeah.
why it's doing it and finishing. What does Dave Canal say? Finish, right?
Yes.
That exactly illustrates my point. If you don't finish a preseason game when you've got the opportunity to do so, you look like a hypocrite. Do you want to look like a hypocrite, Dave? I don't
Oh,
think you do.
oh snap.
You're on. Lesson learned, right?
Right.
Let that be a lesson. So, since we've covered all the special teams, is there anything else with this roster you want to cover before I get into coaching?
Um, quick rundown of so the sealed practice squad. Um, so we brought in running back DJ Dallas, cornerback Kalen King.
Right.
Um, so Chris Burns, Boogie Basham, Jared Harrison Hunt at defensive end, Jarrett Kingston, Mapalo Wanza, Bryce Pierre, tight end Bryce Pierre,
Mm,
wide receiver Jasim Reed, cornerback Michael Reed, defensive tackle Sam Roberts, Michael Tarquin at offensive tackle, safety Trevian Thomas, offensive lineman Brandon Walton, uh, signed Anais Smith at wide receiver, and of course we know about Hendon Hooker, cornerback. Mapalo Wanza does not count toward the 16-player practice squad limit because he is part of the league's international player pathway program. So he's the exception.
oh, okay. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
So that reminds me of is Abata when
Yeah.
he came up.
Yeah. Similar situation.
That's cool. I would really love to see Mwanza like absolutely turn up and make this 53 at some point this year and do some damage and
Well,
eventually the next Abata. That would be amazing.
they did mention last year 13 of the 16 players on the practice squad in week 1 were active for at least one game with the team. So, you never know.
For those that don't know who I'm talking about with Abata, he was given 3 chances against the Steelers in the fourth preseason game. 2 minutes left. And this is why you want to watch these preseason games all the way through. I've been telling people this because you never know who's going to become a starter one day.
Mhm.
Effie Abada given 3 chances. Should have been 2 sacks, but was graded one. 3 quarterback pressures. He was given 3 opportunities. And he made the most of all three. And that was the day that I knew Effie Abada was going to be a starter at some point down the road.
Mhm.
I was watching him during training camp, and I was like, "Yeah, this dude's got some swagger about him." He was playing really well throughout these drills, the 11-on-11 and 7-on-7 drills. So I said, you know what? Let's see what he's got. Give him 3 opportunities, made the most of them. 2 years later, starter for the Carolina Panthers.
There you go.
And I have his jersey actually. I'm sitting here with it
Oh, right
in my
on.
hand, and I use him as an example to everybody on these training camp rosters and these practice squads. And I said, look, throughout training camp, who wants to become the next Daffy Bottom? Who wants it bad enough that they want to become a starter one day?
There you go.
Who's it going to be? How hungry are you to get there?
How bad do you want it?
And that extends to people that have been pushing for roster spots too. How
Right.
bad do you want that starting job? Um, so looking at this list, uh, anybody jump off to you before I jump in with
Uh,
my comment?
so let's see. Me personally, I have to say, I mean, of course, Hendon Hooker, for obvious reasons.
Mm,
Uh, Boogie Basham.
mm.
Honestly, those are really the only two.
I'm surprised to hear you say Boogie because he didn't really impress me.
Only because I haven't quite given up on him just yet. Um, but that's just me. That's just me.
Okay, so
Um,
man, fair enough.
but yeah, everybody else, I'm really just kind of open to just see what they can do.
Mm, okay.
So, I mean, whether they see the field or not remains to be seen during the regular season. But I mean, you got to have that next man up mentality, and depth goes a long way. So, I mean, you got to be prepared no matter what.
Yeah, correct. Um, when I'm looking at this list, I see Chris Barnes, I see Shamar, because I've had my eye on Shamar the entire month,
Hmm.
ever since the first 2 weeks. Um, Jared Jared Harrison Hunter just hasn't impressed me. Kingston hasn't impressed me. Maplo hasn't impressed me. Bryce Pierre, nah, you know, hasn't
Hmm.
impressed me. Sheem Reed, he's made a couple of plays, but it's not enough.
Okay.
You know, he's right on that cusp of you kind of want to see a little more, but at the same time, like it's just not there.
I see.
Clear separation between him and everybody else that's already on the roster. So, uh, Michael Reed, I mean, open battle for that corner spot. Michael Reed slowly got into that race during the Pittsburgh game, but slow racehorse, you know what I mean? It was a
Yeah.
way. And I just said, okay, we got one more preseason game. Anybody want to be that slow racehorse? And it was him.
Oof. Dang.
So, I mean, that's tough luck, man. But, if he'd have been given another 2 weeks, I think he might have made a roster.
I see.
But, it would come with a lot of drills and practices and just opportunities for him. But he just wasn't, he had plenty of time. So, you know, that's the right move. But there may or may not be something there. I don't know. Sam Roberts didn't impress me. Michael Tarquin, I was hearing a little bit about. There's a slight amount of buzz on him.
Okay.
Uh, Brandon Walton didn't impress me. Now to Travion Thomas. Travion Thomas was battling with Lathan, and it was a clear separation with Lathan. So I like Travion. He was making some good plays, but it wasn't quite enough to warrant a move up, you know.
Right.
But if Nick Scott doesn't start getting his act together, he may be battling with Travion for that next spot.
That is a fair point.
and that's what I'm saying. You better get your act together, Nick Scott, because I like you. I really do like you. But it's not enough to like a player. They've got to make the roster or they don't. You know, that's how
Right.
this business. You either make enough plays, you get the job done, or you don't. And with Travion Thomas, I mean, we're talking about a guy that's 5'11", 196. He hits hard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, he hits hard. Dude hit like a freight train. But, is that enough for him to make a roster when he's not getting the pass deflections and he's not getting the closing speed, necessary on the deep routes? In order to battle with Corey Thornton and Shamar, you've got to be able to do both.
Right.
Both of them at that point before that Pittsburgh game were doing both. So it was a clear separation with those two versus Trey versus Travion versus everybody else down the list. So I do like him. I'm a little concerned that somebody might try to take him off our squad. I don't think so initially, but once they start taking a deeper look at him,
Mm-hmm.
when they're going to say, okay, let's make an offer, you know, and send it to his agent. Shamar, on the other hand, if they see that he can improve that closing speed, he'll be gone within a week.
I see. Yeah, that that makes sense. I think that could definitely line up.
Who was the right guard initially during training camp behind Taylor Moton?
Right guard? Don't you mean right tackle?
Yeah, right tackle behind Taylor Moton.
Right tackle behind Taylor Moton. Yosh.
Okay, yeah, Yash. Yeah, yeah. What I meant was Robert Hunt. Robert Hunt, the
Oh,
guy
okay,
that
Robert Hunt. Okay.
does he
Um,
now,
according to the depth chart, nobody.
right? Wasn't it Kingston?
Um, Kingston was, I thought was tackle.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, it might have been Brandon Walton.
Actually, you know what? I think it was Kingston. He's listed as guard.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Okay.
Kingston.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
Kingston. Okay, good call.
here's what I would like to see happen. Um, I know that we're using James Mitchell for special teams, but I mean, we have plenty of people for special teams at this point that we could move him down in order to get Kingston back as a backup guard.
I see. Mm,
I would like to be able to have him there so that we can free up Brady Christensen to do his thing, at any position
right.
necessary. That's not necessarily an easy thing to do. Um, so I mean, if you were building this on roster, you'd have um, Icky, Brady Christensen. Uh, then you would have left guard Damian Lewis, Zavala. Center would be Corbett, Cade Mays. Right
Mm-hmm.
guard would be Robert Hunt, Brady Christensen. Right tackle Taylor Moton, Josh Neiman. That's what we're looking at
I see. Yep.
currently. If you add Kingston in there, then you can put Kingston in the third spot. And you can feel confident that if you need Brady Christensen somewhere else, Kingston can come in and give you at least a quarter or two, of relief until
Right.
Brady Christensen can come over there and help out, for the next game while you go and sign your right guard or whatever you need to do. your left tackle or whoever gets hurt.
Right.
So I think that we're still in a tight spot with offensive line depth. It's a yellow area for me. If you're thinking of it on terms of a stoplight, we're in the yellow zone
I
right
see.
now with that.
Yeah.
We need to be cautious. I think we can run it back, but we need to start evolving it and improving it. Otherwise, we're going to get cooked later on if we get any injuries. And history has shown we've had a lot of offensive line injuries.
Yeah. That. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And, case in point, Icky with the surgery right now.
Oh yeah,
You
the
don't
appendectomy.
have a year. Football injuries are football injuries. But a lot of those could be prevented if you're using the right technique and right footwork and right mechanics.
Right.
If you're not, that can lead to some pulled hamstrings, some other stuff like that, ankle injuries and such. So I'm asking these offensive linemen be on guard for this stuff, use proper technique. And I'm looking at again at that offensive line coach and saying, this is a good segue to the coaching. Um, I'm looking at the offensive line coach going, why is every other position solid, but left tackle is not? What are we doing differently there? Because everybody down that list got beat on the outside.
Right.
Pittsburgh game. And don't try to tell me it's good defensive ends, it's good defense. No, no, no. Bad footwork, bad technique. I was watching them. You almost got our quarterbacks murdered.
Yeah.
Why they're not on this list? Why do you think Brady Christensen is our second string left tackle and you don't see anybody in third, fourth, fifth down the line?
Oof.
Because that reason right there. Why do you don't see? Why do you think you don't see Jarrett Kingston making the roster? For example, and who else was it too? Because I know there were a couple more that didn't make it for that reason. Let me see. Let me zoom
Uh.
in. Transactions. Yeah. Tarquin.
Tarquin. Yep.
Tarquin,
Walton.
awful. He on the outside too. Now the question is with the limited play calling that was even weaker than it should have been during preseason.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to evaluate a guy like Tarquin? How are you going to evaluate some of these wide receivers and players that, down the list at running back, that need to be evaluated properly when you're trying to ram Blackshear up the middle like he's Derrick Henry? It's so stupid.
Right.
That I'm looking at Brad Isaac was calling it for the first two games, and I was going, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
And somebody through obligation gave this dude a mic for a Q&A. And I swear to God, this dude looked like he was just sleeping through the Q&A. He was just giving the most basic, bare bones answers. And I was like, uh, what? So, in this press conference in particular, he started chatting away, because this is Brad Isaac we're talking about now.
Yeah. This is usual for him.
Yeah, it's like he had 2 cups of double espresso coffee, and he was just like, it's like over explaining everything. He got given 3 or 4 questions, and it was just he turned an entire 30-minute press conference into 3 questions, and I was just going, like, what are we doing, bro?
Yeah.
The genius that put this man behind a mic because I want to Batman slap him.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not smart. And then, on the other end of the spectrum, finally they gave a gyro a Q&A.
Right.
And I was, okay, I've been waiting for this because I want to see what a gyro has to bring to the table. He's got so many things to answer for right now. He's on the hot seat, and I was like, the Pittsburgh game did nothing to help him. You know,
Right. Right.
I thought it was okay. It was mediocre, but it was not quite still what we were looking for. But there was a slight improvement over Cooley, and Cooley did okay too. You know, Cooley did all right. We only gave up what 20 points against the Texans.
Yeah.
You know, 3 and 3rd string, 4th string. I thought we did all right. So now we know Cooley can call these plays if necessary. But back to a gyro, the man of the hour. We're sitting here watching him in the press conference, just bare bones answers, bare bones answers, and he gets down to the last two. I've never seen this man so hyped up and just giving bare bones answers ever in a press conference. And I was just going, what? What are we watching right now?
Oof.
You got David Newton asking all the stupid questions to him too.
Right.
But started asking great questions. The ones that are important in the last 2 weeks. And I'm sitting there going, what are we doing? What This dude is not what we're looking for.
Right.
And I think it was 2 reporters gave him 2 solid questions, and he was just like, okay, yeah, this is what's going on, and da 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 da, I've got a good explanation and why, you know. It's like he started to come to life after all of that time. It's like he had to warm up the engine.
Right.
But before that, it was just his go-to answer was, okay, we're developing the players, they're looking better, and I like working with them. Those were his go-to answers. It's like you almost felt like he wrote them on a card. He was just like, "This is what I'm going to answer if these people ask like most of these questions."
Mm-hmm.
And then they finally engaged him with 2 questions he had to answer specifically, to expand.
Right.
And finally did. And it's just like, finally, where was this the entire press conference? So I'm looking at a gyro like he's struggling in press conference. He's struggling to find the right coverages.
Yep.
This dude's not making it through the end of the year if this continues. Like, we might win 7 to 9 games, but is a gyro the right fit at the end of the day?
Well, he's
With a
got
three,
one more year to prove it, and shoot, I gotta keep it real with you. Patience is wearing thin with him. That's all I know.
even the Jets have gone away from the 3-4. They've been running it for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
That ought
Like,
to send a signal to you that it's a dead playbook at this point.
not only that, it's just not working. Like, it's just not working.
And Dave Canales covers up for his boy, Brad Isaac. And I'm just going, Dave, don't do this. Don't do this.
You know they tight.
It. I said this on my stream as well, and I'll say this on yours for the benefit of your viewers.
Go for it.
It's like hiring a janitor to do an offensive coordinator's job.
Oof.
That's essentially what we've got at Brad Isaac. Unless he can prove me wrong and say, okay, here's the analytics to prove that these are the right plays to call, and he's whispering in Dave's ear, and Dave Canales is calling the plays. That's the only explanation I will accept. Otherwise, Brad Isaac should not touch that playbook ever again.
Yeah,
Unless
that's
he
fair.
was pulling analytics. Period. I do not want to ever see him call another preseason game again. Because that was awful. And I mean straight up awful. You got your bare bones preseason game play calls, your slants, your screens, your stuff like that. This dude was awful.
Right.
And I'm going, why? Why do we trust the dude for 2 preseason games and expect him to do better the second time? We scored a total of 23 points during preseason.
Yep. That's it. That's it.
And I mean, would you like to go over a few of the numbers that I saw in preseason? Because some of these are disgusting.
How bad are they?
I mean, I understand it's preseason, guys. I understand it's preseason before everybody jumps down my throat. But these numbers are not normal. Okay? Let's see. I need the Texans. Yeah, Texans. Team stats. That's what I'm looking for. When we reached the red zone 0 times during the Texans game, come on, man. 0. 0 for 0. Uh, I mean, really. 1 for 10 on third downs. Need I say more? Brad Isaac, what are you doing with this offense? Because that ain't it. And I mean, the differences are clear.
Right.
It's clear. Even since we're talking about the Texans game, 86 passing yards versus 157. And the Texans don't have much of a passing game outside of CJ Stroud. Mills went 8 for 14 in that game. Come on. And you want to tell me that that's a good number for a backup quarterback in preseason? Miss me with that. Like you go back to the Browns game. All
Right.
right.
First preseason game.
Yeah. So let's see. Where did I see it? Where did I see it? 40 rushing yards versus their 125. Ouch. And it was clear that it was just not going to happen. We got 7 points. We got 13 first downs to their 20. So I mean, we did something.
Right.
And Andy Dalton actually looked good during that game, which is unusual for him in preseason. But then you turn around and you say, what are we doing against the Steelers? Steelers game. We goose egged in the second half. We didn't get anything.
Right.
We were 9 for 16 on third down conversions. 9 for 16. 4.0 yards per play versus their 7.2. 3.0 versus their 8.4 yards per pass, which, by the way, we did not throw deep the entire preseason. Name one time we threw a deep ball during the entire preseason.
I think the closest was the free play that was a pick, but it came back because it was offsides.
Right.
But
And
I think
that
that's
doesn't
it.
count those offsides.
Right.
Other than that, we did not throw a deep ball the entire preseason. And I'm sitting there going, what? Like, I get that we're trying to water down the playbook, but you can't Teddy Bridgewater it.
Right.
Okay? You can't PJ Walker it. That's the problem here. And even PJ Walker was throwing it deep when he was a
Yeah.
quarterback here preseason. So did Teddy. I mean, at least they tried it. We had like 0 deep balls. What was that?
Folks
You
don't want to
can't mix it.
take a shot
It's
downfield.
You can look it up for yourselves, folks. And I'm just going, there's an obvious difference in some of these numbers. And it's not the defense. It was Brad Isaac. It was 1,000% Brad Isaac. These are the numbers I've been reading off to you. I'm not even reading the defensive numbers. I'm just reading the offensive ones. This is why we're sitting here with 23 points in preseason. When everybody else, the league average is like 40 something, right? 40, 50 points. You don't expect too many of preseason. It's preseason, of course, but what is the league average actually? I'm actually curious because it's much higher than 23. I know that. That was gross.
Definitely higher than 23.
What was the lowest one? That's what I want to know. Besides us, what was the next highest up? Because I guarantee we were in last.
Preseason point totals, right?
Yeah, I would be very, very fascinated to know that. And we're looking at Brad Isaac just like, why? Why is this a thing? That's why everybody went completely bananas on social media and chat is at Brad Isaac.
Thing is haven't
It's not Gabe
haven't
Canales put it up and said, "Oh no, it's a player execution." No, it wasn't, bro. No, it wasn't. These players are talented. You know, miss me with that explanation, bro. If these guys have been doing what they're supposed to be doing, we should have a lot more points.
so the next highest was the Commanders. They had 38. So
30, and ours was 23.
yeah, so we're definitely at the bottom, and
Ugh.
they're the second worst at 38.
I've
Now
said this
the
times on my.
now
We
the
do not
highest
bother
was the Giants at 107.
New York.
Yeah, Jackson Dart had been lighting it up.
Maybe they got something in Jackson.
Yeah, like that dude has been lighting it up.
Y'all might want to start this dude. I I do remember Jackson Dart being a beast, man. I was watching this dude, man.
Like,
And normally I don't look at quarterbacks on evaluation process when I go into draft mode, you know, during March and April. But
yeah,
not looking for one. You know,
So he is
you notice him.
372 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in those preseason games.
Yeah, I did notice him, and I said, this dude's a baller. He's going to make a team very happy. But it's got to be the right team that'll actually protect him. And the problem is the Giants won't protect him. He's going to be running for his life during regular season if they start him.
Right. So,
I mean, it's not to that level of bad protection like the Colts have and the Falcons have, but yeah, the Giants are getting down there on that list. Mm, they might want to start investing.
yep, I think it definitely may be that time.
And while we're talking about investing, I was looking at over the uh, cap space, right? Since we were talking about the 7 million that we got, you know, which did push us up to um 15.5 before we made that move. These most recent moves. Hendon Hooker is going to be worth some money. So, of course, now we went from like 20 something to 15.5.
Hmm.
Sounds about right, right? But when you look at this list, I'm going to send it to you, boys, so you can see this for yourself.
Okay.
This is why I want you to notice who is number 2 on this list because this is a concern. This is a serious concern.
Okay.
Private message. I'll send it through private chat. But
So, number two in cap space, the Cowboys.
3,
Oh, number three, the Lions.
correct. Look at how much weaponry the Lions have right now.
Oh yeah, they're loaded.
$35.2 million. If they started spending that, the whole NFC is cooked, except for the Eagles. The whole NFC, except for the Eagles, is cooked, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that right now. And they are saving that money up there, rolling it over. They're rolling it over, rolling it over every year. It's getting bigger and bigger. And they're paying their players. The Lions are going to be a problem for quite a while, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. This is an NFC championship team if they can get themselves together. They were this close twice, 2 years in a row. This time they're going to get it. Unless the Eagles have something to say about it.
You know they're gonna have potentially have something to say about it.
Yeah. And you continue to look at this list. Look who's at the top of this. The Patriots have $52.2 million and are not spending it.
Right.
Why? Why? For goodness sakes, you're the New England Patriots. You've won 6 Super Bowls in the past 20 years. Why are you not spending $52.2 million to get some of these free agents that are sitting out there right now that can improve your team right now? Like,
Yeah.
why are you on that money?
Yeah. Not
You
too
know,
sure what they're.
they've got as much dead money as everybody else, 28.1. Come on, man. This is they're sitting here with 241 million in cap spending, you know. But so why are you not dipping into that with all the waiver wires and everything going on right now after preseason? Why is that money not being spent? I don't understand it. If I was a GM looking at that cap space, I would just have a free for all shopping spree to save my team. The rest of these guys are sitting here, with 15, 16, 19 million dollars, even 22. And you're going, okay, yeah, these guys have spent the money. They're trying to improve their teams. We'll see where this goes.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, New England is sitting up there just, oh we're just gonna see where this year leads with all the garbage players that we have. Yeah, yeah. Let's grab another top 3 draft spot. Yeah, it just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it really doesn't. But I mean,
GM needs to be fired. Up in New York. I'm sorry. Up in New England.
New England.
No, no, no. Fire him. Even the Jets are spending money at this point.
Right.
I mean, when the Jets are sitting at 15.3 and spending money. Yeah, we're even spending money. Come on. And I look at the Titans. The Titans just got Shy Tuttle. And Shy Tuttle is below average.
Yeah, he really did not pan out well for us.
I'm going to say he's below average. I'm going to call it what it is. If you're going after Shy Tuttle, you're desperate. Deontay Johnson got cut again. Not a surprise to anybody. As far as former players go, Shaq went up to Buffalo. That I know for sure. Which is anybody surprised Buffalo picked him up? No. They love former Panthers players, so why not? But we know his weaknesses too. So, once we put Buffalo, we'll know how to get around him. He's not the problem. Um, so far, I haven't seen any cuts that have turned into problems, and that's a
Right.
good thing. Keep your eyes on that practice squad, though. If anybody picks anybody up for practice squad, that's going to be a problem. There's about 4 names off that squad I don't want taken. I'm not going to say who those names are, because we do have NFL scouts checking out our channels. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut on
Fair
which
point.
4. Um, but there are a couple of desperate teams that could grab them right now that they could get on those defenses or offenses and cause some problems. Uh, I think that overall, I like where this roster is at. We're not going to get past any of these playoff teams, but once we play the Dolphins, who struggle against playoff teams, how is that game going to go down?
We'll have a chance to get a shot at revenge against them since they beat us the last. Well, actually, they beat us the last two times. So we definitely gotta get them back.
So, kind of around the league, let's talk about around the league here. We just had a major trade happen today.
Oh yeah, Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons. Okay, so this doesn't really have anything to do with. We'll cover this one before we cover the ones that do have to do with us specifically. Um, because that was exactly what Dallas was asking for. They got what they wanted. Their young player and 2 first-round picks. Green Bay just gave up the entire house for Parsons.
Yep.
And Jerry Jones is sitting in back in his chair going, "Yep, yep, this is where Green Bay's going now." Yeah, I love it. with it with his walking stick. Oh man. You know Jerry is loving this right now. because he just fleeced the heck out of Green Bay.
Yeah, got what, 2 first-round picks?
Oh my God, dude. You know he was involved in that move too. Because that's the value of a quarterback, dude. From Michael. It, are, from Micah Parsons, are you kidding me? Tell me where this value makes sense. This is where the values are going nowadays. And I blame the Deshaun Watson trade, that started it off because of how ridiculous that trade was, value was. Nobody was going to pay that except for stupid GMs that were dumb enough to jump on the train. And unfortunately, Scott Fitter was dumb enough to jump on that train for a little bit until he saw the numbers. So now Cleveland is stuck with 6 quarterbacks in preseason, and 4 of them are injured. And Watson won't even play for $250 million. Like, your finances are cooked, Cleveland. They are completely cooked. Like, what are you doing? Like, Cleveland's got to be the dumbest as far as GM stuff right now. I don't understand what you guys are trying to accomplish right now.
Get 4 quarterbacks.
That's actually insane. That's insane. That's unheard of. So, I mean, we were in that race for Watson for a little bit, and we got jumped out of there once we heard the number. Smart move. Smartest move we could have ever made in franchise history right there. Because that just murdered their cap for 5 years. They can't even pay their own players. What do you... I don't even... Who is still on that roster now?
On the Browns roster?
Yeah, name me anybody besides Garrett that's on this roster right now.
Let's see. Jerry Jeudy.
Okay, Jerry Jeudy. I'll give you that one.
Um. Uh.
Without looking it up, who do you know that's on that list?
Shoot.
Flacco is a freebie.
Yeah, Flacco's a freebie. Well, now see, I gotta look it up because I'm kind of.
And that's exactly my point. They can't afford to pay their players. Look at some of the contracts of base.
Oh, they got Shelby Harris. Shelby Harris, which I mean, I guess he's probably on his last length because he's getting up
Look at
there.
they're so disgustingly low because they can't afford to pay anybody.
Yeah.
You got Ward with $24.5 million. And what's crazy is you see some of the top defensive ends out there and top linebackers getting paid $24 million
And
per
then
year.
again, they kind of had to fix themselves after that gargantuan size contract they had Deshaun Watson on.
My God, it was horrendous.
Yeah.
You only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that have actually hit double digits in cap number. That's it. Just 6. Everybody below that in Cleveland, including Jerry Jeudy.
Right.
Including Flacco, including Swearinger. This is just insane to me. Like, how this is even possible for them to even have a team right now after what you just did. I mean, they're sitting at $8.8 million of team cap space. 2026, you're sitting at 29.8 in the red.
Mm-hmm.
Next, in the red, and it continues to get worse. Like as you go along, like nobody wants Watson in a trade because of that insane contract.
Yeah, nobody ain't trying to deal with that.
Oh,
And his production has gone down.
nobody's trying to deal with an injured quarterback on top of that. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, like Cleveland's cooked, man. They're just unequivocally cooked. Um, let's take a look at the Colts have given up on AR,
Yep.
so that's a done deal. And the scouts figured out AR before everybody else figured him out. Before he was even drafted, before he even ran a combine workout, they already knew who he was. So let's put this into perspective. Your AR, you're coming into a building with a terrible offensive line
Mm-hmm.
that they would refuse to fix. You're a top five quarterback, right? Supposedly.
Right.
Quote unquote top five. We're gonna say quote unquote, because that's really what you are. Um, they give you a couple of weapons, maybe, and that's it.
Right.
Um, and I'm looking at that draft and I'm saying, okay, first thing they're going to do after they draft Anthony Richardson is get a wide receiver. Well, who do they go after? This is the dude I told everybody to avoid in Carolina. I saw this at the beginning of the month. Once we got into April, I saw it right then. And I was like, if the Colts draft AR, expect Adonai Mitchell to go to the Colts.
Oh yeah, Adonai Mitchell. That's right. They did make that move.
That's all he does. He's a lateral wide receiver. He goes deep. That's all he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's a one-trick pony. They're now paying him $1.8 million. 1.6, my bad. $1.6 million to do only just that. So they go out and they go get Quiddy Pay, they get Nick Cross, they get Latu, they get a few of these other guys, and I'm thinking, okay, well, you're still mid, okay? And now they're starting Daniel Jones.
Yes. That they are.
Indy, 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 look at me. You're
Uh-oh.
starting Daniel Jones. Like this team hasn't been right since Andrew Luck at quarterback. And you think Daniel Jones is the answer to that problem? Get real. Regardless of the offensive line, until you start getting real about who you're getting at quarterback, you're not going to solve the problem.
Right. Right.
All right, it's just no, just no. That's You can go and look at Daniel Jones' numbers in New York and figure out he's not the answer to that problem.
Right.
Let's see. What else do I want to discuss? Uh, Outside of us, of course. The Bengals, Trey Hendrickson, right?
Yeah, he ended up staying. They Cincinnati decided to to get right, and they gave him an extension.
I mean, the Bengals were just asking for things that they know they were not going to get from us. You know, there's a new sheriff in town in Carolina. This
Right.
isn't Scott Fitter anymore. This isn't Marty anymore. You're not going to get that value out of Dan Morgan. I'm sorry, you're not. He knows what he's doing. You know, we've already established a pattern of this dude knows how to trade and get proper value.
Right.
And if you want proof of that, look at the Mike Jack trade. That's all I need to say about that. So don't try to fleece a master right now. That the security guards are in. You know, you're not getting past the wall this time. So I don't know what the Bengals were thinking. I don't know what the Cowboys were thinking. I don't know what um who else was it that we were trying to acquire to? It was I'm trying to think who else was it? 'Cause I knew we were going after somebody else too.
Um, not too sure.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, $30 million for
No,
Anderson. The
no,
the raise that he
no.
got. So he's going to be
That
making
might
30 million annually. Or actually,
no.
the crazy thing was the extension um
Correct.
was initially supposed to be worth 60 million.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure was.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, that would kill our cap right there.
Yeah. I mean,
There were a
would
couple
he have
of
been an instant impact on our team? Absolutely, but that money was overkill.
right.
Like, just got to keep it real.
And the thing is, pay attention to the Saints. Pay attention to a couple of other teams that are dropping some players that we could pick up
Right.
potentially. This is not over yet. You know, just because you set the 53 initial 53 in the squad does not mean this is not an active 53 in squad.
Right.
We can always upgrade and change at any point. You know, and knowing Dan, it'll be some name we'd never heard of. You know, that was the same thing back in 2013 when we were starting to build that team.
Right.
Nobody knew who these guys were. You know, it was a bunch of nobodies. You know, there were second and third stringers. Nobody knew who these guys were. And
Right.
we put them all together, and it became just this different crew. And I'm starting to see signs of that again with Dave Canales in this crew. I've got a lot of questions about the gyro.
Mhm.
I don't I don't fully buy into Brad Isaac. I think just he's either the analytics guy or he's a puppet on a string for Dave Canales. Which one is he? You know,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
in my reference, he's a janitor. So he's Dave Canales' janitor. Okay.
Dang,
So
that's harsh.
when you're trying to run a multi-million-dollar corporate entity,
Mhm.
why would you put your janitor in charge of your finances? Unless that janitor actually happens to know finances. Then you're in great shape.
Mhm.
But if he does not, and that's not on his resume, you're cooked. So, I mean, like, why would you do that? You know, that makes you lose money. Which, speaking of money, somebody please explain to me how Tepper made $100+ million off of us last year when he ruined Spartanburg, ruined Rock Hill, and now he's ruining Charlotte. And then the man is still making $100 million in profit.
Hey, he's an owner. He's got his own
Makes
tips and
no sense
tricks.
to me. Makes no sense to me. He just paid these construction workers in Rock Hill that exact amount. You want to tell how? How does this dude balance that out? And don't tell me nonprofit charities. This has got to come from PSO owners. This has got to come from ticket owners. This has got to come from people that are buying merch and food.
Right.
You know, that's the only way. $100 million. So should I get into that, or you want me to get into that topic, or
Um, I mean, we're reaching to the conclusion, but you know what? I'll let this be the last topic of the evening. Go for it.
yeah? Because honestly, I think we've covered everything else at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
All right, so with Tepper asking for $645 million from the city of Charlotte
Mhm. I do
for this
remember that.
project. This is a $1.2 billion project now on
Mhm.
Bank of America Stadium, and I've already had a humongous uh, explanation on the whole bar thing that they're going to put up in the upper bowl. You know, if you missed that, go check out some of my VODs. I'll explain that a lot clearer in that. But these upgrades don't make sense. You know, some of these upgrades don't make sense. You're putting in $635 million of your own money from the Tepper organization.
Mhm.
You know, to match it for a $1.2 billion. Now, consider this: $800 million, from what I read, is what's going into both the Charlotte Hornets arena and the Panthers stadium. Where did the other $500 million go? Where did it go? How do you misplace $500 million throughout this whole project? It's got to go to somebody's pockets, right? 100 mil plus goes to Tepper's pockets, which ironically enough happens to be the same amount that he was paying the construction workers for the training camp in Rock Hill.
Right.
Which I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. We already know where that went. You know, but it's
Yeah.
the fact that this man is profiting off of this garbage, where $100 extra entertainment tax for the city of Charlotte makes people question whether they're going to pay their light bill, electric bill, or put food on their table, or even sometimes not even have a place to live,
Right.
is insanely ridiculous. And this man saying, "Oh, I just profited $100 million," like it's chump change,
Reminds
like
me
it's
of
a dollar bill that you pick up off this freaking street.
reminds me of a certain pro wrestling promotion that tends to do
I
that.
mean,
But go ahead.
I don't even live in Charlotte, and this pisses me off. You know, like I get it. You're making your money in a capitalistic society,
Right.
but you're putting people out of homes. You're putting people uh, out of a power bill, a light bill, whatever have you.
Right.
These people have kids to feed. Some of these people have kids to feed, and you're adding to the unemployment rate. And to make things worse, you are burning the tents uh, of people that are living on the streets, and saying that, oh, they're not allowed to be there. That's horse crap. I'm sorry, but as fellow human beings, that is horse crap to me. That's unacceptable. Now, maybe I've got my numbers wrong. Maybe I'm off base here, but that's my theory. That's what I've gathered so far. But I know for a fact I read $100+ million that he profited, and then I read that the $800 million went to the stadiums. Put two and two together, folks. It's not hard. This is not complicated. You got a rich owner that's spilling drinks on people when they lose.
Oh
When they,
yeah. Oh, that will
he
never
does
get
all
old.
kinds of stupid garbage with these training camps things. Does not understand how to create an event for a training camp to fit all the people in there. Creates a VIP space where there should not be one for training camp. And you're going to tell me that you don't see something fishy here? You're going to tell me you don't see something fishy here?
Quite fishy
Like,
indeed.
and I ain't talking about the shrimp scampi that you buy at the freaking restaurants.
Oh Lord. Interesting. Interesting.
I mean, this is it. I'm not a mathematician, but something doesn't add up here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where does the other 400 million go? Where does it go? This supposedly a account set up, for sports entertainment and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know how these people do these things up there. I'm not a businessman. I'm not, as far as that high up the chain.
Right.
I'm a businessman, but I prefer to stay ground level.
Which is
And I don't want to get
understandable.
into politics, but that's, you know, it, the when people go to these games and stuff like that, that helps out the food industry. It helps out the music industry. It helps out tourism. That's why we have an entertainment tax. I need people to understand that's why we have it. But to hike that up by $100 per month, I believe it is,
Right.
and to say, yeah, you're forced to pay that as a citizen of Charlotte is ridiculous. You know, all because Tepper just has to have his soccer stadium and his freaking bar up there is absolutely idiotic to me. Uh, I have full respect for the Tappers as people. Don't get me wrong, and rich people gonna get rich. I get that. I get that. This ain't about that. This is greed, and this is adding to the unemployment rate, and that's something I can't stand for. He can talk a big game about what he's done with the community and da 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 da, but you're not gonna erase that.
Right.
I'm sorry. If I'm correct in this theory that I have, and
Mhm.
all these things are correct, and I don't speak on these things unless I know it. Okay, I look this stuff up. I do my research. Otherwise, I don't talk about it unless I'm absolutely sure of what I'm talking about on these channels.
Right.
But I know for a fact I read those two things and I put those things together and I said, "You got to be joking." But you know, I think the team itself is good. I like what we're looking at. The depth chart looks good. The roster looks good. I think we're on track to go um, 4 of 7, ceiling of 10. I like what I'm seeing. We're going to
Mhm.
see injuries. We're going to see different things happen this year. We're going to find frustrations. But I mean, I think we're still on target. you know?
Oh yeah.
And there's going to be a few more moves made. We'll try to cover that as we go along. You know, I don't see the need to do any full streams on it, just videos, right? If they make any small moves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So I don't know when that's listing is going to end as far as what moves are going to be made, but we'll see. But things have mostly calmed down now. Um, but one last thing, I did see the 2015 documentary and I loved it. Oh my god, I loved it. And the simulators between that team when they were starting to build up and what we're doing now,
Hmm.
it's crazy to me. You can watch the first 30 minutes and see like all the things that they're talking about, and you can see things that sound familiar to what we're doing right now in the last 2 years.
Yes.
And it's just like, whoa, chills, right? Tell me I'm not the only one that felt that when
Very,
I was watching,
very
when you were
much so.
watching that. Tell me you didn't recognize this stuff. And I'm like, bruh, if history repeats itself again, wow. I mean, they were clearing the city streets for a parade in 15.
That they were.
Whoa, that part got me, man. I was like, that's how you know it's real. When when you get all these stories of all this stuff and it's just real. And I'll say this, the last time I felt that championship energy was Dabo Sweeney, and you saw what he did. I felt it
Yep.
with Dave Canales. It's coming. Third time is the charm. It is coming. And if you aren't on this train, I don't know what to tell you. Because we are not stopping. It is going full force down the tracks.
It's the way it should be.
As it should be. You know, this is going to be it, bud. I can feel it. You know, and you add a wide receiver like Renfro to that,
Right.
which, by the way, I want to remind people who caught the winning touchdown in 2016 for the Clemson Tigers. They got them their Heisman, their national championship trophy. Renfro.
There it is.
Think about it. What if we re we re-sign Renfro and he catches the Super Bowl winning catch for us? Doesn't that give you freaking chills?
That would be
Like,
pretty iconic and memorable for sure.
like I feel hyped just thinking about that. Just it just whoa.
There you
And
go.
you know, you give Bryce Young the MVP just like Cam Newton got his MVP, but you got to let Bryce be Bryce. Let him
Right.
be himself. Create his own identity, and it'll happen. Everything will fall in place if you just let it. Just keep on the track. Keep doing what you're doing.
Right. Absolutely.
It's beautiful. We're creating a Mona Lisa here. I love it. So, I mean, what's everybody's thoughts on this depth chart? What are your thoughts on this roster? Let us know.
Yeah, definitely. Especially for those that catch the archive of this. Let me know how y'all are feeling about the 53-man
I would
roster, the
love to read the
adjustments
comments
that
and
they
just
made, um, who they put on the practice squad and whatnot.
yeah,
But yeah, let me know how y'all are feeling. And like I said, we still got, you know, next week to prepare. Yeah,
yeah.
week one will be here before you know it, but they have an opportunity to finalize some things, and we'll see what happens. And just get ready for Jacksonville.
I'm nervous but excited at the same time. This is the
I'm
year when wins start to matter.
I can't
Pay
say
attention to
that
the
I'm
numbers, okay?
necessarily nervous. I'm just very anxious to really see them get back out there.
Yeah. Pay attention to the scoreboard this year. This is where wins start to matter. This is where we begin our journey to get that division back
Right.
and take it back with an iron fist by the time we're done with it.
That's what we got to do.
It's been beyond time.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
um go ahead and plug in your socials. Plug in your socials.
All right. So you can get a hold of me private message through Instagram of Shadow Warrior with 1W645. Um, and on the Facebook group page, keep pounding in all caps. And on YouTube, which is our main channel, and what we do gaming, Panthers first, of course, content. We welcome all 32 teams fans. Um, awesome debating. It's healthy debating, and
Indeed.
we're family friendly. So, if you're not a part of that, please sub to us, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my live streams. I don't really do videos anymore. I just do live streams. So, um, and it'll be whenever I can schedule them. So don't think I've got a set schedule right now. Just look for the notifications. Um, except for Sundays during game day. Obviously, I'm going to be doing reactions to those. But I do reactions to the game and post game in one stream, and we do preview streams too. Sometimes together, me and Blitz.
Mhm.
So look out for those during the regular season. Um, so it's Keep Pounding 3869 on YouTube. Again, that's Keep Pounding 3869. I don't know why the YouTube algorithm is what it is. Just go with it. But it should pop up immediately for you. Um, as far as other podcasters, make sure you check out Monster Sub Grub in Spartanburg. Get yourself some tasty subs. We managed to do a stream out there during training
Yes,
camp, and it
it
was
was fun.
awesome. I wish we had better Wi-Fi, man. Just wanted to do that in full, because that was so much fun.
Yeah, and, and
But
maybe
we'll get
hopefully
to
the
that at
next
some
time we
point.
go back, it'll be an upgrade.
Yeah, hopefully we can find something in Charlotte that's a Panther zone that we can do that with.
There you go.
I would love to. I'm down. Or we can do it from some random restaurant or something. I don't know. But we'll figure something out. Um, but yeah, check out other podcasters that are awesome too. C3, uh, Pat Coltrane, Shellytron, Robstar Report, Unk 2020. Go check these guys out, man, because they're good people, man. They're good people. And uh, go sub to them, share the love, spread the love. You know, we're one love, one family, we're one Panthers family. It's what we do.
That's what we do.
So, but yeah, we've added music to my channel too, so we'll be doing some music podcasts too. So be looking out for that too in the off seasons and sometimes during the week, rarely, um, because the main focus is Panthers football. One other thing I'd like to mention too is we are adding prayer to our stream.
Oh,
So if
nice. Good
anybody would
call. Good
like a
call.
prayer, we can stop content immediately unless we're doing a live reaction, to a game. because that stuff we can't really stop. We can't put, you know. But if you'd like a prayer or some type of good energy sent to you, if that's your thing, we'd love to do that. So send
Excellent
them to
idea.
us.
Excellent
And we'll
idea.
stop counting it for you. So brand new thing we're out in there.
Oh, I like it.
It's
I like it.
it's a big
That's
platform, man, and we don't take that lightly.
yeah, absolutely. No,
It's a gift.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to reach more people and just really help people.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't go wrong with that for sure. And I want to thank everybody for coming out, for chatting it up with us, and just
Mhm.
for the continued support.
Yeah,
Keep pounding nation. Won't be too long for week one, so everybody stay locked in and keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. And
hmm
yeah, keep pounding. We're gonna get through this, and we're gonna make it. It's only a matter of time, but we're gonna make it.
absolutely.
So just do your best, stay positive, keep your heads up, and let's get ready for the Carolina
Stay happy,
Panthers.
healthy, and well, y'all.
Yeah, and let's get ready for this upcoming regular season. Let's do this.
Yeah,
Look forward to week one preview sometime next week.
yep.
Um, but yeah, it'll be coming in hot. So get
hmm
ready because there'll be quite a lot to talk about as the Carolina Panthers try to do something they haven't done in a couple of years, since 2021, I believe, and that's win their first game of the season. So
hmm Be looking out for the announcement for that on my Facebook group page.
there we go. But if nothing else, this has been another Carolina Panthers talk. Brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming, and th-
Keep pounding.
keep pounding. Thank y'all so much for joining. Hope everybody enjoyed tonight's live stream. And Lord willing, we will see y'all in the next video and or live stream. Take care